Hey everyone, and welcome back out to Harvest Hills Ranch. We are going to take a look at the most important factors to create a healthy diet. Hey, I'm Dr. Arland Hill, and I have a passion for all things health, nutrition, and wellness related. And today, we are going to delve into this topic around diet. And I don't mean diet as in cutting out calories. I mean diet as a pattern of eating. We hear all kinds of diets out there. We hear about the paleo diet, the low carb diet, the Atkins diet, the South Beach diet, the vegetarian, vegan diet. I mean, the list is exhaustive. There's so many named diets out there in different patterns. And everyone seems to be claiming that their pattern of eating is the best. So for example, let me take two extremes here. You take the vegan vegetarians and they say, hey, my dietary pattern is the way that every human should be eating, and it is the only way that we can avoid cardiovascular disease. And then on the opposite end, you have the carnivores that are suggesting that we should only be eating meat and that we can sustain and thrive off of meat. And hey, there are tons of carnivores out there that are sustaining and thriving on meat. How do we have two completely different ends of the spectrum that seemingly both have optimal health, or at least good quality health? Maybe not optimal at the peak of their performance, but at least reasonable quality health. Well, guys, as I've looked at these diets out there, there's two things that I keep coming back to that seem to be consistent. There's a consistent theme, and that if you follow these next two things that I'm getting ready to share with you, you can move your diet in any direction more or less that you want to, as long as you're meeting your metabolic needs. Now, what I'm getting ready to say may seem overly simplistic to some of you, but I feel like it needs to be said because, quite frankly, some of you just don't get it after it's been simplistically said. So we're going to reiterate this again. So what are these two things? Well, number one, at the top of the list is that you need to eat real food. I am blown away sometimes by folks not understanding what real food is. Real food does not come in packages, it does not come in bags, it's not processed, it's typically not derived from grains. Real food means that it has some type of life-giving properties to it. It was living, and if you leave it on the counter for any length of time, it's going to mold, spore, rot, putrefy. It's going to go bad, so to say. Those are real foods. And so let's put this in the context of the different diets out there. If we take different vegetables for a vegetarian and we leave those on the counter, at some point those things are going to rot. They're going to go bad. If you take the opposite end and go to the carnivore pattern of eating, you're going to find that if you leave a piece of meat out on the counter, it will putrefy at some point. But the reason that it is putrefying is because those microbes go to that food because they know that there is nutritional value in that food. It is a real food. And when you consume it, it is going to have qualities for you. If it's someone consuming more of a keto type of pattern, hey, maybe you're eating avocados. Well, avocado's a living food. So here's the point, guys. Real food needs to be your number one criteria, irrespective of what dietary pattern you're following. If you're not meeting that number one point, you're not on track with your diet. I don't care what label you attach to your diet. The second thing is you need to be going out of your way to avoid chemicals. So what that means is if you're consuming produce, vegetables, fruits, and these things have been sprayed with herbicides or pesticides, fungicides, those things are residual on those foods. They're going to ultimately be ingested by you, and because many of these things are fat soluble, they're going to be difficult to be eliminated from your body, and they're going to create some type of damage over time. It could be neurological damage, it could be hormonal damage. It's going to be damaged regardless. You need to, if you're consuming more and thinking in the terms of different meats in your diet, this is where the conversation around whether it's grass-finished animals or pasture-raised animals, and keeping an eye and asking the questions to those producers. What are you feeding these animals? What are you putting on your pastures? What are you exposing these animals to? And anywhere in that food chain, is there the potential that there is some type of chemical that that animal is exposed to? That's a red flag. You need to keep those foods out of your diet. And again, this spans any type of dietary pattern that you're consuming. So, is there a time and a place for a vegetarian diet? Yeah, that works for some folks out there. Is there a place for keto? Yeah, you can do keto, you can do intermittent fasting, you can do carnivore, and you can see success with all these different dietary patterns. But at the end of the day, if you're not making the choice for real food and you're not trying to avoid chemicals in your diet, optimal health is not in your future, and you are not consuming an optimal healthy diet that is really what is designed for human nutrition. So with that being said, guys, I hope you have a different way of thinking about the food that you're consuming, and I hope that this gives you an idea of when you're hearing these different individuals out there that are promoting different dietary patterns. Don't look at this as which one's right and which one's wrong. Look at it as, what can I take and learn from this, and what are consistent themes among these diets that would optimize human health. Everybody's going to have nuances. I can tell you from 20 years of clinical practice, I cannot come to the table with an agenda about a dietary approach. I have to look at lab. I have to look at what the dietary intake of that individual is, and we have to customize for that individual to meet their metabolic needs, to optimize their health and meet their objectives. So with that being said, if you're looking for more information about how I do that and what I do with my patients, go to drarlandhill.com. If you're looking for food sources that are raised without chemicals, without herbicides, without pesticides, with uncompromised ethics and principles, go to harvesthillsranch.com, guys. We pride ourselves in raising food in that manner. Until next time, I'm Dr. Arland Hill. We'll see you soon.